Turn the can.
That's a late game.
The meeting of the Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Neighborhood Board will now come to order. Can you hear me in the back? Okay, I'm going to do my best with the mask on. This is for everyone else's protection. I'm Clarissa Burkert, the chair of the board, and aloha mai kako. Welcome all of you, and thank you for joining us today. We first start with the reports from our emergency responders, and as you can see, they're ready for you and also ready to provide the report. Please welcome the Honolulu Fire Department.
Hey everybody, I'm Jake. This month we had one wildland fire, one nuisance fire, one cooking fire, 4 activated alarms with no fire, 26 medical calls, 4 motor vehicle collisions. And our fire safety tip for the month is the Honolulu Fire Department is excited to announce the launch of 2 new public data tools on its official website, fire.honolulu.gov, the Incident Trend Dashboard and the Fire Response Search Tool. The Incident Trend Dashboard gives residents easy access to 5 years of emergency data by neighborhood, including fire, rescue, medical, and hazmat incidents, with interactive maps and charts. The dashboard helps communities better understand emergency trends in their areas. The search tool replaces the previous response mapping tool, which is no longer supported and was recently taken offline. This tool enables individuals and entities to look up specific emergency incidents in which they have an interest in or maybe have been involved in or affected by. It also enhances transparency and provides residents with efficient and direct access to incidents in a secure and accessible format. Developed by the Honolulu Fire Department's Planning and Development Division with the help from a city and county of Honolulu, Ho'okela Fellows intern. These data tools reflect our ongoing commitment to transparency, innovation, and community engagement. To access these data tools, please visit fire.honolulu.gov/news-and-info, and then another slash.
I'll leave one of these with you guys.
Please repeat the URL.
Yeah, I can. I'll leave one of these with you guys too, but I'll repeat it. It's fire.honolulu.gov/news-and-info and slash. But you guys have a copy of it. It's in the back, at the very end. On there. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could share it and you guys can see it after. Make sure you guys got yeah, it's a good tool. For information previously requested, sorry, I'm Captain Mark Esteban from Wailupe. I didn't introduce myself. About any possibility of the HFD acquiring the U.S. Coast Guard property adjacent to Station 23. In regards to that, as Cap Hall said on 5/7 last month neighborhood board, HFD did inquire about it with the U.S. Coast Guard property, but it was not available to HFD. So the answer is still no on that part. It would be great for us, but unfortunately, yeah, we're not able to acquire that piece of land to widen out our driveway, rebuild our station and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions or anything? Or you guys got the website on the paper? Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. But if that's it, we'll see you guys next month.
Hold on. Are there any questions for Honolulu Fire Department?
No.
We thank you for all you do.
Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
Guys,
Thank you.
Here. Next, we'd like to call up our police. Honolulu Police Department. Do we have a representative online?
Yeah, hi, Lieutenant Thompson from District 7. Good evening.
Hi.
I'll go for the stats for May. There was 1 reported motor vehicle theft with 7 the previous month, 2 burglary cases with 6 the previous month, 4 theft cases with 10 reported in April, 2 unauthorized entry into motor vehicle cases with 7 the previous month. Total calls for service for the month of May is 5,892. And I'll go over the safety tip of the month would be home security tips. Always lock exterior doors, windows before leaving your home, even if it's for a short trip. Make your home look occupied by leaving on lights and radios and make it difficult to break in. Always lock your garage doors and sheds. Install motion sensitive lighting in your doors and dark areas of your property to prevent concealment of intruders. Never leave keys under doormats, flower pots, mailboxes, or other secret hiding places. Burglars know where to look for hidden keys. When moving into a new home, have all your locks changed. Consider installing a burglary alarm. And dogs are good deterrents. Most intruders will avoid a house with a dog. Be a good neighbor. If you notice anything suspicious in your neighborhood, call 911 immediately. You can also form a neighborhood security watch. We can help you work with your neighbors to improve security and reduce risk of burglaries and other crimes. And it's a good way to meet your neighbors and know, like, you know, their patterns and who's strange and who's not. But you can find other tips for home security tips on honolulupd.org. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take it from you now.
Does anyone have questions for our police officers? Sir, would you be able to stay with us on this meeting until we have a topic coming up that we could really use your help with. It's regarding the concern about juvenile e-biker gangs. It is the fourth item under our board business agenda.
I'll stay on as long as I can. My battery is weak on my phone. My computer does not have an internet connection, so I'm on my phone today. I apologize.
Okay.
I barely made it to this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, our next report is from Board of Water Supply. Chris, are you online? Oh, hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jimmy Llanos. I'll be representing Board of Water Supply. Chris Sugimoto has left the board, so I'll be taking this place as the Board of Water representative for this neighborhood board.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I only have general water announcements. I'm going to be talking about our water quality report. Each year, the Board of Water Supply, BWS, mails customers an annual report on the quality and contents of our drinking water. Effective July 1st, 2025, the BWS will be providing this report on a biennial basis, issued in July and December of each year. The report is available online at www.boardofwatersupply.com. For more information and to request a translated copy, please call the BWS Communications Office at 808-748-5041. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Could you repeat your name, please?
Jimmy Llanos, Yanos. Thank you.
Yes, we have a question from Kevin Mulkern. Kevin, please come up to the mic.
Actually, I realized that after complaining about the Kuli'ou'ou pump station at the corner of Elilupe and Kalani Highway, I had never gotten around to saying you're doing a really nice job maintaining it. It looks beautiful. The lawns are pristine. The rocks are beautiful. And there's, of course, the bench where I can sit on it so I can rest when I'm walking around that block. But you're taking really good care of it. Your crew's doing a superb job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions for Jimmy Llanos from the Board of Water Supply? Nope, not at this time. But, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. On to board business. I'd like to, since this is the end of our board term, with a new term starting in August, I would like to thank the board members who have served this year, and especially those who won't be with us the next year. And it's not because they're going to be in a different life, but no, it's because they have other commitments. I first want to thank Howie Lucas, my vice chair, She's such a wonderful vice chair. I'd like to also thank Kelvin Gonzalez and Tim Stanton, and I don't see either of you here, but we really, it's been great working with you. Are any of the incoming board members here? Dore Shin? Kevin Palmer? Will Duke? Okay, well, we'll meet them next time. We will go ahead with the approval of the regular meeting minutes from May 7. The minutes of the May 7 meeting have been distributed. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If none, the minutes are approved. Okay, an issue that has concerned the residents in Aina Haina for a long time is the Wailupe stream management. And I'd like to welcome back Director Albano, who is online.
Thank you, Chair.
Hi. Director Albano, he listened to our concerns on April 2nd and checked out the stream with City and County Chair Tommy Waters. And we note that the vegetation has been cut back and several trees have been removed. So thank you very much, Director Albano. And you are helping to prevent flooding and erosion in our valley. Can you please go ahead and let us know what updates you have regarding long-term management of Wailupe Stream?
Sure. Thank you, Chair, Neighborhood Board, constituents of the community. Thank you. Gene Albano, Director of the Department of Facility Maintenance. So this is just a follow-up to meeting with the community and the Neighborhood Board in regards to the Wailupe Stream maintenance. As mentioned, we have taken action to try and get it to a manageable condition at this point. And as far as follow-up, we are attempting to try and be on a 6-month schedule. That is with the understanding that we have all of our labor forces in place and equipment in place, and that continues to be somewhat of a struggle. However, we are making big strides in terms of being able to fill those positions, and I am cautiously optimistic that we'll be on target to be able to do our biannual maintenance as far as the stream. Long term, we understand that the Department of Design and Construction is partnering with the Corps of Engineers to provide a flood risk study. And I did get some information from Deputy Director Yonomine. They are in the early stages of project delivery team doing their analysis of the stream conditions and starting their assessment of alternative plans to manage associated flood risks. They intend to try and conduct an information meeting July of this year. And so there should be information coming out in terms of the specific time and date. The location of the public meeting will be shared through multiple channels, including the Corps of Engineers website, the Neighborhood Board, and memos to the city council, as well as letters to the state representatives, and also a press release. So please look forward to it. And from there, once the assessment is made, long-term maintenance will be adjusted in accordance to what is then being proposed in terms of how they address flood mitigation for the stream. So with that, I open up to any questions that you may have moving forward.
Hi, Gene. Bill Kilcoyne, and I'd like to thank you again for doing the walk with us several months ago. It was very encouraging that you and Tommy Waters would come out there and take the time to do that. You did a nice job. However, there's been a few things that the neighbors on the stream are concerned about. These plants, I think they grow about a foot a week. So a 6-month period would be terrific. But if it's longer than a year, it's going to be another jungle. So I would be very impressed if we could do this in 6 months, every 6 months, and it would be a big relief for the neighbors on the stream itself. There has been, though, the recent rains have left a lot of silt down by the first bridge, which is the highway, is the first bridge, as you know it. And now some of the property down there, their property line used to have 4 or 5 feet clearance. Now, with the silt that is deposited, it's less than a foot. And as you all recall, the building we're sitting in here, the library, was flooded a couple of years ago and was closed for 1 whole year. So we'd like to make sure that that doesn't happen, not only the library, but the poor homes on the east side of East Tyne Drive that are still suffering from that. So 6 months would be wonderful. And if you could do that time frame, that would alleviate a lot of issues as far as I'm concerned. And thanks again for taking the time, and you've been very proactive.
I have been very aggressive to our crews to be able to maintain it more readily, and it is just something that I'm trying to change the culture within the department to be a bit more top of mind, and knowing that if we are, it makes our job easier. And so that is truly the aspiration of the department.
Thank you, Director Albano. We have a question from Doug Harper. Doug, please come to the mic.
Aloha, Gene. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, come on, lift it up. You're tall.
I'm just gonna, this will be quicker than me figuring out how this works. Anyway, Director, thank you for coming and presenting. And I just had a quick question about the process with which Army Corps is going through. I'm curious how much they're engaging with the government here to kind of help guide it, and B, how much input the community is going to ultimately be able to have, so that Army Corps isn't kind of operating in a box.
In a box, yeah. And so I understand the concern. Obviously, that is being led by the design and construction. I will certainly address those concerns to DDC, and I will see to make sure that they are made aware of the concerns, and make sure that as the process is going through, that the communities are going to be integrally involved. I'm fairly confident that the Corps will not do it in I don't want to just say in a silo, but they will get community involvement for sure. So I'll just reiterate that to DDC, and perhaps get a response back to the neighborhood board as well. Because July is just around the corner, and we certainly want to make sure that the community is already involved from the start.
Thank you. A question from Kevin Mulkern.
I believe a month or two ago, the city hosted a stormwater workshop at the Alawai golf course. It seems that what the city was trying to encourage the public to do is not quite the same as what's being done in the stream with regards to non-point pollution. When you go through the stream, and it's beautiful, it's pristine at the moment. Your heavy equipment does a lot of disruption to the soil, and there are groups that are working in Honolulu Bay to try to reduce the amount of mud and silt that's damaging the reefs. And it seemed like there are some maybe less intrusive ways of dealing with the vegetation. I've seen the state and the city using more of the flail mowers with, I think it's called a reticulating arm, where they just drive along the side of the highway and they can cut trees and green vegetation up to, I think, about a 15 or 20-foot height. I believe I sent you some information on that, but that seemed like it would be a less expensive, more efficient and less harmful on the environment than using the heavy equipment, which again, doesn't seem to be consistent with what the city was advocating at the stormwater workshop a couple of months ago. Thank you.
Point taken.
Director Albano, when do you estimate the Army Corps of Engineers study will be ready for review?
I don't want to predict how long
Okay.
the study will take. If I recall, the last one a few decades ago took a while. So yeah, I don't want to opine on how long the study will take.
We really appreciate your looking into how to maintain our stream in the long term in a way that will prevent erosion and flooding and help protect the reef. We really appreciate your letting us know when there's more information available, and we would certainly love to invite you back to one of our meetings.
Absolutely. I do appreciate all of the interaction that I've had this formal, and I think that's what we need is continued collaboration when there's concerns for us to be able to actively participate when there is a concern within the community. So thank you very much. If there are any other concerns as it relates to the department, you can always email dfmroads@honolulu.gov, and we will certainly respond in a very timely manner to any concerns that the community has.
Thank you. We have another question. I missed Kalani. Go ahead, Kalani.
Hi, Kalani Sonora Pole. So I wanted to just point out that, you know, it's difficult to trust the Army Corps of Engineers after the fiasco with the Alawai, and after all the communities that they devastated with their plans upon which they created, that they did not collaborate with the community at all. I mean, communities came out in droves, and it was a long, hard road to stop that fiasco. They were planning to build football field sized dams in 3 streams, which is trippy. And then they were going to relocate Hawaiian charter school and condemn homes along where they're going to do their work. And so this caused a lot of outrage. So my comment is about going forward with caution and holding them to account and to the fire. We don't want to have to fight a proposal that will pretty much devastate our community. And so that is from past actions, from what I saw with the Alawai, and that was a long fight to stop that. That was, I think we need to be very cautious, and I don't want to have to take up a whole nother issue with fighting to preserve the Wailupe stream. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback. I would certainly agree with that sentiment. Other streams have done other approaches that I certainly question, and I don't want Wailupe to suffer the same type of situation. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Director Albano, and please keep in touch.
Will do. Thank you so much for allowing me to give you an update.
Thank you. The next, The next business, board business is a happy one, and that is approval of our new public relations flyer. I want to thank Mecca Monsangier and Frank Fuji, the members of our Public Relations Committee, and not forgetting, I want to also thank Janine Johnson, who for many years has been maintaining our Facebook page. We've been putting our heads together, and I want to turn over the mic to Mecca, who will summarize some of the things we came up with and ask for your approval and suggestions.
Thank you. So we had our first PR meeting where I think we talked about the goals that probably everyone here has, which is to increase the participation, and much was said about collaboration. We want to see that happen too. And so we decided really quickly that we wanted to build on all of the good work that Janine had already been doing, and of course spread the wealth, and hopefully more hands mean less work for her. So the committee wanted measurable goals that we would be working on. Very clear. I mean, we have a Facebook page. We'd like to see more followers. We would love more attendance at these meetings. And of course, we have vacancies, and we'd love for those to get filled as well. And so those are very measurable things that we can keep track of as we go along throughout the year. The efforts that we hope to do to make this happen and get your approval for and maybe feedback for, we're looking at using the wealth of information that we get from these monthly meetings. We get lots of emails and, apps and new things that are available to the public. And so if we can really use that Facebook page as a command center, or really pushing information that the public is interested in, then hopefully that becomes a hub and something that people rely on, and therefore builds the trust of even more so this group. So that's the first thing. We'd like to use all of the good information that is already public and just promote it there. Second, we want to promote the Facebook page. You all got a copy of the members of the flyer that we'd like to see start to go out into our different neighborhoods, whether it be Starbucks or at the libraries or things like that. There's a QR code on that would link people to our Facebook page, and our Facebook page is kind of like a website where it's going to have all the important links so that they can watch online, they can participate in person, they'll know and get reminders through that, they'll get posts of all those important things. And then lastly, asking for support from all of our members to obviously help us get the word out with these new tools that we're creating, but also to start liking our pages, sharing our pages, and getting their friends involved, because we know that's kind of, you light the fire and then it catches. So if there's any feedback for the flyer, I'm happy to take it. We just threw it together. Anything to help us move forward is great.
Is it possible to show everyone the flyer again?
Sure. I can pass around a hard copy or a couple.
Oh, dear.
Okay, board members, those of you who are online, did you have a chance to look at the flyer? This one? What I'd like to do is to have a motion to conduct a voice vote. So may I have a move to take a vote? Second? Thank you. All in favor of adopting this flyer, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone who, okay, well, we can hear you. Anyone who does not want to adopt the flyer, please say nay.
Susan Spangler. Cherry Spangler. Oh my God.
Sherry, I have trouble seeing you. What did you decide? Do you like this flyer? Do you feel it needs any changes?
Their camera has to be on. I said yay to it.
Okay,
hear me now?
okay. Thank you. We can't see your face, that's why.
I don't know how to do. Hold on. Just come back to the.
It's okay. It's okay. We heard your response. Thank you. So the our neighborhood board is adopting the flyer, and we want to thank you very much, Mecca. Frank, do you have any additional things that you would like to add to what we would like to do in the committee?
No, Mecca did a great job.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mecca. Is Police Lieutenant Thompson still online? Oh, okay. Well, our next topic, we'd like the help of HPD with, and we'd like you as a community to help us with it, with this problem. So there's been concern mentioned about young people on bikes who endanger themselves and others. They're zooming up the freeway. They're, zooming around Diamond Head all the way up to Hanauma Bay, doing wheelies and going in and out of lanes. There was, I witnessed one of these groups that had more than 50 bikers. And we all know that summer is around the corner and that e-bikes are very popular and are worried about, our kids getting killed and motorists being involved in accidents as well. So we'd like to have your suggestions as to what we can do and, who would be appropriate to get the word out to and what media to use. We know that the police can't do everything, but they can do some very they can do impressive things like arrest the kids or at least stop them and give them a talking to, maybe to confiscate their bikes. I don't know. But I guess we don't have any police online right now. Are there any people who witnessed this behavior who would like to mention what they saw and perhaps help out with what we might do? Okay.
Well, I've certainly seen it on Kalani and Oli. And it is very dangerous. As far as what we can do, we have traffic cameras, don't we? I mean, can't we use those? I mean, this is really a question for HPD, but I know that the highway has traffic cameras and I don't know why they couldn't be used, but maybe it's a issue of privacy. I don't know.
Any other thoughts? We may have to bring this up again when we have our police online or present.
I don't think there's any laws right now that the police department can enforce these guys on bikes or gals on bikes. Maybe on the highway they can, but in the neighborhoods, I don't think there's any laws that the police department can utilize.
Is Casey Abe online?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Casey, is
Yes.
there anything that Hawaii Department of Transportation can do? Who do the cameras belong to? The speeding cameras, traffic cameras?
As the speeding cameras or the red light cameras, that's the 10 cameras that we have installed belongs to the state, but it's on some of the city roads. If you want cameras, if you want to talk to your elected officials, especially your senator or state representative, and they can, send an email to me and I can forward it up to our administration, or they can talk to our director or deputy director directly to talk about you folks' requests for cameras on Kalani Highway.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not speaking for the police department. Okay, let me make that really clear. I'm not speaking for the police department. As far as the cameras, I think, one of the things that there's a difference between using the cameras for vehicles versus these e-bikes. And I mean, the glaring thing that I would think that I think it would be a proper identification. The speed cams get the enforcement, and these e-bikes don't have them. I think, and this is my personal opinion, the e-bike problem is a community problem. You know, the police, it would be very difficult for the police to engage in a pursuit of the e-bike people. Okay, because the department is bounded by specific rules, policies on trying to apprehend speeders. Okay, and we need to understand that if the person or the kid on the e-bike should crash while the police officer is subduing them, the officer could get in trouble. So it's quite a dilemma for all of us. So, and what I mean by a community problem is this: it's almost like fireworks. You know, people know if these kids have e-bikes and they're living next door. Okay, let the cops know about it. So the cops at least might know where to go to talk to the parents. You know, the city council and the state have come up with a bunch of laws, and I'm not familiar with the laws, but I'll talk to Lieutenant Thompson and maybe he can do a presentation for us, or have traffic division come in and do a presentation for us so that we can educate ourselves as to what bikes are legal and what's illegal, and how can we, I know that the young kids, the bikes, and actually I don't know, but my swag is that the e-bikes for the kids have to have bicycle pedals. And if it's something that simple, then it would be much easier for the community to engage and say, hey, we see these kids on illegal stuff. They're not supposed to be on it. And this is where they live. So the cops can go and they can go talk to the parents. You know, the police is not going to solve the e-bike problem all by themselves, basically. That's what I'm saying. And I think it's unfair for us to expect them to be able, you know, it's our problem. It's really our problem. It's a community problem. And if we want to stop it, let's be an example of what do we need to do, how we can work together to get it stopped. You know, excellence teaches excellence, and I love my community that I live in. And I say, let's make it a goal. Let's make it a community goal to come up with something, to collaborate with the police department and what any other agency that we can use to help solve this problem. Because you know, when my kids went and asked to get driver's license, let me plant this, all of us, okay? You know, my wife and our concern was not that our kids would get killed in a motor vehicle collision. Okay, our nightmare and our worst nightmare would be that our kids would be involved in a motor vehicle collision where another person's life was taken, because that would be something that they needed to live with for the rest of their lives. What are we going to do to stop it? Because do we want our kids in our neighborhoods going down and killing themselves? Something for us to think about. You know, it's not going to happen to us. Everybody thinks it's never going to happen to us. And I'm here to say it will, and it's just a matter of when and where. You know, so let's band together. That's my message basically. Let's band together and let's work on it together. So and maybe we can teach our entire city. I mean, lofty goal, but I mean, it's got to start somewhere, and it's got to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any suggestions, other comments or suggestions? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead, Sherry. Sherry, you're on. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry. I don't even have an answer for this except to ban them outright. Anecdotally, as I drive around town, every time, and the only time I ever see e-bikes, they're only ever doing wheelies. I've never seen an e-bike going down the road being legal. You know, Kalani, Kuli'ou'ou Avenue, Kalani Highway. It doesn't matter where they are, they're always doing wheelies. One guy followed me down Kuli'ou'ou Avenue, doing a wheelie the entire way. So I don't know, you know, we went to a parent, you know, I don't know how you do when you got strangers on the road. We did go to a parent in our community whose child, you know, a 6-foot teenager, high school student, doing wheelies up and down the road inside our community and up and down the sidewalks. And he was being very dangerous, looked very happy. But we went to the parents and told them, and the mother turned, and we were being as delicate as we could be. But she said, "Oh, I've had a long talk with my son, and he wouldn't do that. We've had this conversation, and he wouldn't do that." So my sister had to take pictures and say, "Sweetheart, he's doing it." So you need to have more conversations. So we got rid of that situation inside our community, but they're all over town. And everywhere they're riding on the roads, they're doing wheelies. And I don't know how you deal with that. I did do what Mr. Fujii, you said, to, talk to the parents. That did work, but they're all over town. So I don't know what to do about that. Thank you.
Well, you did the right thing, and thank you for your suggestion. There's a comment from Janine. Janine, Adam Du is online. You want to go ahead and pose your question? Or make the comment? Janine? Okay.
Hi, can you
Janine?
hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, no, I know Chair Waters was trying to pass a law regarding making it illegal for wheelies on e-bikes, and I thought for sure it passed. So I think if if we just need to find out what we can do, what we can do, who to call when we see things happening or take pictures, or we need to just find out what we can do.
Adam, can you chime in now?
Hi, Chair. Yes, so the City Council did pass a couple of bills last year. I believe it was Bill 52 and Bill 61 that helps regulate these e-bikes. I believe if you're under 18 or under, you have to wear a helmet. It also prohibits e-bikes to more than to excuse me, no more than 750 watts. And yes, also prohibiting wheelies. So, it would no longer be it as it's just another enforcement tool for officers, at their discretion.
You're kind of going in and out with your voice. Would you be able to share those bills with us, the numbers? I mean, the number of the bills so that we can look them up? Put them in the
Certainly,
chat.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Are there any other suggestions? Cynthia, are you online? Cynthia, why don't you tell everybody what you put in the chat? Okay. Go ahead and read it.
This is from the chat. E-bikes have the schools give briefs on the dangers and examples of what happened to people who drive in inappropriate ways.
Thank you. Okay, this is not the end of this subject. So as Frank pointed out, this is going to be require everyone working together, the community, the police department, perhaps the Department of Transportation. So anyone who has some ideas that can be implemented, or you've seen examples or taken pictures of this kind of activity and can share them with us, please do. We are on Nextdoor, or we do look at Nextdoor for input, and we also have a Facebook page for the Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Neighborhood Board. Thank you. Before we go to public input on items not on the agenda, I would like to make an announcement. There will be an emergency preparedness fair on July 26th at Kahala Mall between 10 and 1 p.m. The fair is sponsored by Ainahaina Prepared, and participants include Sea Grant, Board of Water Supply, Honolulu Fire Department, Honolulu Police Department, the Ham Radio Association, HIEMA, the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, American Red Cross, and the community preparedness groups from Manoa and Hawaii Kai. So everyone, please stop by Kahala Mall, get your shopping done, and learn how you can prepare for hurricanes, floods, and problems, and when your electricity is turned off and none of the toilets will flush, all kind of good things. Okay, so we now go to public input for items not on the agenda. Does anyone in this room or online have something they want us to know about? Please go ahead and introduce yourself and what group your organization you're with.
Great. Yeah, Doug Harper, Malama Maunalua. And just very quickly, we just found out last week. So if people, I can come back and talk more about it. But we found out recently we got a grant where we can install rain barrels for free, and we can buy the rain barrels for this watershed. And so this was part of trying to address the flooding that's been taking place. And so I don't have a whole lot of specifics, but just wanted to get the word out so people who are interested can start asking their neighbors and stuff. We'll have a limited number. I think it's around 80, but that's still more than what I think are currently probably in here. So
where can people find out more about this and, contact your organization?
that is part of what I'll probably come back and share. But if you email runoff@malamamaunalua.org, we can start creating a list that way. But we'll probably have a sign up on our website. We can share it to whomever, and then you can sign up and we'll buy the rain barrel and install it.
Oh, thank you
So,
for the good
great.
news. We need more news like that. Appreciate it. Any other items that you would like us to know about or inquire about? Is there anyone online who has a concern? Okay. Next are our officials' reports, and right after the officials' reports, we will go to our presentations. We have some real good ones coming up, so please stay put. Our first officials' report is from Congressman Ed Case. Do we have a representative for Congressman Case? Okay, seeing none. Mayor Rick Blangiardi. Okay, Dita Holyfield is not online. Okay.
Yes. So it's to my understanding, the board, by the way, my name is Brandon Sark. I work with the NCO. I'm a neighborhood assistant. I believe it says the board has asked a question to HPD and the Department of Community Services, or DCS. A resident expressed concern with homeless individuals using their dogs for protection to occupy city beach parks. And was concerned that, park closure hours were not being enforced properly, and asked for more enforcement from HPD. So DCS director responded, validating the people in all of, they validated the people in all of the parks on May 20th, and no dogs were observed. Park closure signs visible with animals prohibited and closure times 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. HPD reports District 7 enforcement detail conducted inspections during both day and night hours at Wailupe Beach Park, Kawakui Park, Kuli'ou'ou Park, and Kahala Park to address concerns regarding homeless individuals and dog occupying the park. No violations or encampments were observed during these patrols. HPD will continue to monitor these areas and conduct periodic patrols to ensure compliance with park closure times and address public concerns. So that was the response given.
Dave Day for Governor Josh Green. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a question first for, well, it's for the mayor, but okay, we'll follow up. Who's the question from? Okay. Sherry, go ahead.
Two things. I know Dita's doing a great job, except we haven't seen her a lot. And I'm hoping that it's possible to get someone who's able to come to our meetings or at least tune in via Zoom. Excuse me. And number two, if you could reconfirm that, is it tomorrow night, the mayor's meeting, the town hall at Kalani High School, is that tomorrow night? And I think someone should notify the community about that.
Sherry, do you have the details on that since we've got a number of people online? What time and where?
You know, I think it's tomorrow night. It's Kalani High School, June 5th, so it's tomorrow night, I believe. I'm not going to take an oath. And it's from 7 to 9 at Kalani High School cafeteria. They're always very interesting.
Thank you very much. Forgot about that. Okay. Next, we have Governor Josh Green's representative, Dave Day. Dave, good to see you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Welcome back.
Hello, everybody. Dave Day for Josh Green. I'm the Special Assistant to the Attorney General. We've just wrapped up legislative session, and we've been very busy here in the executive branch. But I am otherwise here to answer any questions that you may have for Governor Josh Green, and happy to speak to anything that I'm able to.
Yes.
Hi, I have a quick mahalo to the governor for flying flags at the Capitol in support of Pride. Seeing his support out was really meaningful to a lot of people in the community, and we just really appreciate him taking that step to honor that community.
Thank you. I'm going to convey that message.
Janine? Janine, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Dave, thank you so much for your boss's efforts on behalf of Hawaii and really all the most vulnerable populations. It's been wonderful to hear when people are fighting back in against the administration and what they're doing, that Hawaii is always in there in the mix, and it's like a point of pride. Like we're so small, and yet we have such a fighter, fighting for us, on that legal stage. And I think you're actually one of the people that are her people out front. So I wanted to thank you especially too for that. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I lead Hawaii's efforts, on behalf of Attorney General Lopez, as well, along with Solicitor General Kaliko Fernandez, with respect to what we call federal accountability or projects. And we have to date, unfortunately, through approximately 4 months, been a part of approximately 18 suits against the federal administration to date. But we definitely appreciate your words, and we have received, nice words from around the nation. So thank you.
Wait, do you have a question? Okay. I'd like to thank Governor Green for upholding the availability of immunizations for everyone. including the vulnerable populations, but allowing everyone, whether they can afford them or not, to access them. And we're proud of him utilizing his medical knowledge to keep us healthy. Really, that's so important.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for or comments for Governor Green? You have a question from Kalani Sonotapali.
Hi, David. So I just had a question. So do you know what is his intention with House Bill 505? I didn't hear anything about that. And what is the deadline for him to I guess make a decision on the bills that pass the ledge?
Okay, so HB 505, could you tell me the title of the bill or what the bill is generally about? I might know what you're talking about.
That's the VI bill. So it was supposed to create a office, an insulated position within the Department of Land and Natural Resources. And it would oversee the remediation of Red Hill. You know?
Sure. Yeah, okay, so thank you very much. The Y bill. So I don't know any specific intentions. I'm not sure if it's been signed. I'm sure you checked the webpage and know whether it's been signed to date or yet. I haven't heard anything one way or another about this bill. I can kind of just tell you from my perspective that normally means it's not, it hasn't risen to the level of an attorney general issue of legal, where there's like a, necessarily like a legal issue. So I can't speak to anything on that. As far as the deadlines, my understanding is under the constitutional process is that there is a required notice of intent to veto that needs to be submitted. I believe, and so I'm just going to give a rough date. I don't recall the exact date, but I believe it was in mid-June, so maybe around June 21st. And then I believe that the deadline for any to veto a bill is on July 9th.
Thank you. Do you know the status about the OCCC bill to build a extra large jail here on Oahu? Do you know the status of that? Is he planning on redoing it?
I don't, and I wouldn't be able to speculate about what the governor is planning to do on these things.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. We don't see any other questions. Well, good to see you back home, and I hope you get enough rest and get out surfing or hiking, all the things you love to do, eating.
Well, I appreciate it.
Just relaxing. That's good to see you back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, we have the representative for City Council Chair Tommy Waters, Adam Dew.
Aloha, Chair, members of the board. Adam Dew from Chair Tommy Waters' office. Sorry for the audio issues. I have switched to my phone. I'm gonna embarrass my coworkers and turn my phone around. I'm gonna introduce. We have Tasha from our office. She is our constituent services specialist. We have Megan Ramones, our communications specialist, and Olivia from our Office of Council Services. So we're all working late tonight. We are in full council trying to pass our city budget. So I'll keep this brief and I will log off after. But I do wanted to congratulate everyone for your re-elections and welcome the new board members. And I'd also like to thank Vice Chair Callie Lucas and Kelvin Gonsalves and Tim Stanton for your service. We really value your time and your effort that you guys have put into the board. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite boards hope the other boards aren't listening, but we hope to really continue to see you guys in the community. Sorry if you didn't hear me earlier, but it was Bill 5224 and Bill 6124, which further regulates e-bikes that the City Council has passed recently. They require helmets for riders under 18, prohibits e-bikes that exceed
No, I just put
750
AirPod in.
watts, as well as prohibiting wheelies. And the mayor's town hall, there's a question about that. It's Kalani High School cafeteria tomorrow, June 5th at 6:30 p.m. And with that, I'm happy to take back any questions to Chair Waters, or maybe I can answer them myself.
Are there any questions for Chair Waters? Okay, who's first? Sherry, you've got it first. Sherry?
I don't think you would.
I don't have my.
Okay, Janine? Janine, we may be hallucinating, but did you raise your hand? Oh, okay. What's that? Can't see.
She worked for 20. And I just wanted to share that we also have a large hole in the surface, and I'm wondering if you can see the large hole. Is that because I can't tell what I'm sharing?
Yes.
But you can see it. Okay, yeah. So if we could get somebody from the city to come out and repair that, it would be really great. Because we still have quite a lot of kids that come and play on that playground, and it would be nice to have it up to snuff. But yeah, celebrating our community 9 years ago today of opening our first playground.
Janine,
Yeah.
can you please tell us where this is?
Neo Valley Park, which
Okay.
is where they wanted to build the dog park last thing. So there's really not any room for the dog park. As you can see, we take up the whole bottom part of the park, but we've got a huge hill that the dogs can use and have at it. But for right now, we'd have to go back to our community and say if we should have that or not. But
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for working to make that, to build that playground or have it come to life. So, so noted that some repairs are needed. Any
Yeah.
other? Yeah.
Thank you, Member Johnson. I sure hope that a work order is already in for that repair. I'll double check on that and make sure that's moving along, and I'll try to get a status report for you and the board next month. Thank you.
Any other questions for Chair Tommy Waters? Janine, you still have your hand up. Do you have another suggestion or comment? Okay. Adam, thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Chair, and thank you to you and the board and Bill for all your help with Wailupe Stream and working with Director Albano.
Thank you for bringing your whole team with you when we were doing the site visit. It was nice to meet them all. We know they're all hard workers like you are.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, see you later, Adam. Our next official is Senator Stanley Chang. Do we have a representative for Senator Chang? Okay, we don't see anyone. Do we have a representative for Mark Hashem? No, okay. Hawaii Department of Transportation, Casey, you're on.
Yes, okay, let me share my screen here. Okay, good evening, Chair Burkett and members of Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Iki Neighborhood Board. Casey Ira from the State DOT Highway Division. At last month's meeting, I mentioned the trash at the Paico Drive bus stop. I want to thank the neighborhood board and the city for installing a trash can at this bus stop. So hopefully we will not have any more littering. Also at last month's meeting, I mentioned the damaged pool box cover just past the Wailupi fire station. Our maintenance crew reached out to Hawaiian Telecom and had them install a new cover. Our maintenance crew is still working on addressing the graffiti and overgrowth vegetation that I reported at last month's meeting, but during my field investigation on Monday, I noticed the graffiti artist's new artwork. I worked with our maintenance crew on cleaning up the new artwork shown in this slide. At last month's meeting, there was a concern about the chronic homeless problem within the Waialae Kahala Neighborhood Board area, especially along Waialae Avenue and under the Waialae Nui Stream Bridge. During my field investigation on Monday, I noticed a new homeless encampment on Kalani Highway near Wailupi Beach Park, so I informed our deputy director who is working with our homeless coordinator. As for the homeless encampment under the Waialae Nui Stream Bridge, our deputy director is having our homeless coordinator work with the city's homeless coordinator to schedule a joint cleanup and have our maintenance crew install no trespassing signs near the bridge. As for the chronic homeless people loitering along Waialae Avenue under the H1 viaduct, as shown in these pictures that was taken after lunch today, unless we have laws that prohibit people from loitering and sitting on the sidewalk all day, our options are limited. Right now, our homeless coordinator can do weekly checks, offer assistance and referrals to the homeless, but if they refuse the assistance, we can only tell them that they have to move. So the homeless just keeps moving from one place to another and eventually return to their previous locations. Neighborhood board members will want to work with their elected officials to see if they can pass new laws that will help clear their sidewalks and neighborhoods from these chronic homeless people. And finally, I want to thank board member Spangler for her May 7th email mentioning that she saw state highway workers on Tuesday, May 6th, doing some survey work along Kalani Highway at Kalani Iki Street and Waialae Street. She wanted to know what was this all about. After doing some research, we will be starting our traffic signal modernization project at the intersection of Kalani Iki Street and Waialae Street sometime during late August or early September timeframe. If requested, I can provide additional project information at future meetings. But I think the biggest concern about this project is where the contractor will be allowed to park their construction equipment during non-working hours. Doing a preliminary field investigation, there seems to be 3 locations: along Waikui Street, along Waialae Street, and the entrance of Kalani High School. I know the board had some major concerns during our resurfacing project a few years ago when our contractor parked the equipment at the entrance of Kalani High School. So I'm requesting the board to discuss and maybe vote on where they would allow the contractor to park the equipment. If the majority of the board members agree to prohibit the contractor from parking the equipment at the entrance of Kalani High School, I will inform our project manager that our contractor can only park their equipment along Waialae Street and or Waikui Street. If the board wants our contract to attend a future board meeting to address any questions on the project, let me know. This concludes my report. I can take any questions at this time.
I have a question from Sherry. Sherry?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I've been requesting since I heard about this project over a year ago that they come to our board and give a formal presentation. They already know that we had issues. All those trees, those historic trees were killed by State Department of Transportation trucks moving in and out and in and out and in and out at the Kalani High School entrance. We had 3 or 4 historic hikave trees. They were over 100 years old. And you put those mats down and never picked them up, so they were denied water the whole time you were there. And the neighborhood of Kalani Iki Street complained vociferously because of the noise imposition and the lights and the activity and the illegal parking over on their side. So I've already told those people a year ago that they could park at Wailaiki Park in the big parking lot, or they could park at Kilauea at the outside Kahala Mall, and they're only seconds away from their job site. Or they can park in the median like they did when they put the traffic light in. So that's 3 areas. Oh, and there's the empty lot outside the entrance to Kalani High School over on the Cocoa Head side of the project. Where the caretaker cottage used to be, that burned up in a huge conflagration and burned some roofs inside our community across the highway. But anyway, there's a big empty lot in there now that the Board of Water Supply had used. It's empty now. So there's all kinds of options, and you can stop and do not use our streets as your surface runaround.
Casey, are those can you pass on those suggestions? I guess the unknown is how much space they need and whether they have the mobility to park in certain places.
Sure.
It would be great if they could give us a presentation. Let me know when they might be available.
Okay, I will talk to them, but I guess having them park on the roadside across the street in Wai'ele or Waikui is not acceptable to the board.
What? I'm sorry, what are you saying?
Along the side of the road of Wai'ele Street or Waikui. Wai'ele Street is pretty wide,
Are you kidding me?
so no.
Are you kidding me? You think you're going to park them on Wai'ele Street? Are you kidding?
Just asking because again, we're just looking for the location.
Come on, really? We're not
Okay, I
starting from
think
zero.
we should
Anyway,
have this
No,
as a
not
separate
parking on
presentation.
Wai'ele Street. We are not a part of that project. That is a state highway project, and you can contain your project on the highway. And you shouldn't, the people on Kalani Iki Street are fed up with you too. But you do have that empty park that's right there off the highway, the parking lot at Wailaiki Park. You could park there. You won't be killing any trees if you park there. But no, you're
Member
not parking on
Spangler?
Wai'ele Street.
Member Spangler, would you please talk to me and not talk directly to Casey? I would like to have this addressed at a separate meeting when we know more about the area that they need for their equipment and for how long.
Well,
So can we have a presentation at our next meeting, Casey?
yes,
Sure,
that's
I'll
what I was
check
going to
on
ask. It has to be the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
What's the answer?
And what was the
Okay,
answer? Chair,
Is there-
Perkert,
yes.
what was the answer that Casey said about this coming next meeting?
Yeah,
'Cause
I'll
that's
try
when
to
it's
coordinate to see if they can come during the July's meeting or August, but it has to be, I'll let them know they have to come before they start mobilization or start moving the equipment.
We have to bring our neighbors.
You haven't even contacted our community association. You've done nothing except sit
Sherry,
there.
we're gonna have to mute you if you continue.
Well, then I'm talking to you, Chair Burkert. No one's contacted us. No one's talked. I've talked to them over a year ago. They already know what the parameters are. They already knew they blew their way through that entrance at Kalani Iki Street when they did the highway widening project and killed all those trees and
But-
bothered all those neighbors.
How can you talk to the contractor? We just awarded the contractor last month.
Somebody was at
Because I caught them, they were out on the street doing studies. So over a year ago, I think it was Luckfield or somebody, they were doing initial studies. And I walked the site with them. I walked all 4 corners with them. And I told them that,
Hey,
and
Sherry,
I'm
this
talking
is
to
not
the chair.
appropriate. You're
I
gonna
know,
have
I'm
to.
talking to you, Chair. If Kate,
Okay, so I'm sorry I had to do that, but we need to have a presentation at one of our next meetings and allow everyone to have input, because the input will be from the neighborhood board, not just one member. So please be patient and this will be addressed. Yes, we have a
Yeah, there's no
fulfill.
meeting in July, so it'd be August would be the next meeting.
Yes, thank you for pointing
Okay,
that out.
okay. Okay, I'll talk to our contractor and our project manager.
Thank you, Casey.
Sure.
And thank you for all you do.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate it. I'd like to now introduce our first presentation, and this will be about the restoration of spring water flow to the Kalani fish pond. And I'd first like to introduce Chris Kramer, the president of the Mauna Lua Fish Pond Heritage Center, who is going to give you an introduction in the form of the historical significance of this pond to the island.
Aloha Chair and board members. Chris Kramer with the Mauna Lua Fish Pond Heritage Center.
Chris, you know what? Sorry, I saw you there, and I'm so used to you wearing your construction gear. I couldn't. When you wear you wearing an Aloha shirt is somewhat out of character.
Sure, yeah. You don't have to worry about getting hit by on the traffic. So, yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about this project and a little background before some of the other team members share from the state engineering division and RM Towel. I believe they're on the line as well. So this project is at Kuli'ou'ou Fish Pond. It's one of the very last ancient fish ponds on this side of the island. Our community had one of the largest ancient fish ponds in Mauna Lua. These are great public works monuments built by tens of thousands of Kanaka, moving stone, in the bay here. And so to think that we have just these few left and they're very important to restore. Kuli'ou'ou, the name refers to when the Aikapu was broken for the island of Oahu. So it was a very historical event. First happened on Hawaii Island and on the night of Kukahi, and then 1 month later, right out here at Kuli'ou'ou, they had the big assembly. Queen Kahumanu came and Hawaii changed forever. And the whole system of laws and doing things, everything changed. From then on, that place became known as Kuli'ou'ou. Ha'iha'i is the breaking of the Aikapu and the shedding of the leaves, shedding of the old ways of doing things. When you go out to that place, you'll see this big break in the reef, and it's formed by the fresh water flowing out through the coral for millions of years. And so it's always been a very special place. There was much later a glass floor home built over the freshwater spring there, and fresh water, lots and lots of water used to flow out. Thousands of baby mullet were in the pond, and that would feed the entire nearshore fishery there. Just a beautiful, very special vahipana. During the mid 1990s, they had the highway widening work, and they carved the nose off the hillside right above the fish pond. And when they did that, they ruptured the main artery feeding all the fresh water out to that nearshore area. And they built a big giant dam to block all the water from flowing onto the road. There's so much water, they couldn't stop it. And then they took an entire concrete truck and dumped it on top to make sure there's no fresh water flowing out to the bay and to the pond. And when they did that, it was just a catastrophe for the bay. The divers and fishermen that have shared about before and after, they talk about, just millions of holy and the fish population just crashed after they cut off the fresh water. Today, Anne-Marie Kirk from maunalua.net and myself, we were doing an oral history right up the road and with the kupuna, and he talked about where he lives above Kuli'ou'ou Spring, and 7 of 10 underground streams were plugged. And when you do that, it just has this huge effect on all the living things out in the bay here. So this project is to do something hasn't been done. This mess has been going on since that time in the 90s, and that loss of fresh water, everything that depends on that, has very suffered. And so what we're doing here is to restore that Maukatsumakai flow. There's a lot of eyes on this project. We just got message from Lahaina this evening. They're very interested in what we're doing in our community because we can do it here. This is affecting a lot of places that this has happened to, where these significant resources have been plugged up and dammed up, and in our situation, we couldn't not figure out where's all that water going. It's not going out to the bay. And it wasn't until Janine Johnson, who's board member Johnson, she was looking in a big giant sewer report, and she sent out an email that said, "Eureka, I found it." And on one page it said 1 million gallons a day of infiltration is going into the sewer and transported to Sand Island for treatment. And that was happening for years and years and years. And our tax money is going to pay for that. So there have been sewer upgrades, but we need to fix this problem that has not been fixed for years and years. So we're very grateful for Rep. Hashem. He's steadfastly been an advocate for the community and to get this fixed. And we've also been grateful for the support with the DLNR engineering branch, and RMTAL has been a real good partner. So we thank them from the community and Honolulu Fish Pond Heritage Center.
Thank you, Chris, for all you've done. You've worked so hard, and you and the volunteers and
Yes,
Noah
hopefully
and
all the
Dylan
schools and everybody that
to,
comes out.
to bring back our fish pond. So
Yep.
mahalo for coming here in person today.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't see. Let me now welcome the engineering department of DLNR, who are going to show us what they're going to do. This is pretty cool. Who do we have online?
Hi, Chair. This is Brian Takeda with RMTAL. I wasn't
Hi.
sure if someone from the LNR was going to go ahead and introduce. So we should allow that first, definitely.
Hi, Melissa Agbayani from DNR Engineering Division is online also. Thank you, Chris and Brian, for showing up and having a presentation about the project. I'll leave it up to Brian for maybe starting his presentation.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you again, Chair. Clarissa, you were very diligent in remembering to ask me 4 times to please come before your board and provide a presentation. So we are definitely happy to be here. And this project really has very long roots in the community. It starts in the late 1800s, and as Chris was saying, definitely from that time frame all the way to the 1920s, when there was a house and then a fish pond eventually erected on what used to be a much larger site containing a wetland, and I believe it started as a taro loi. And from that point, let me go ahead and try to share my PowerPoint, and hopefully I don't mess up doing this. Let's go with the entire screen.
James, any advice?
Yeah, let's try to do that. Here we go. Okay, this is a short PowerPoint presentation, but what I'm going to do is to try to just pick the high points and describe the project location. Then I want to talk a little bit about where we are in the permitting process. And then finally, we have the great opportunity to have the project archaeologists here that are doing a very important element of the project involving Section 106 Historic Preservation Act consultation, as well as the state's HRS Chapter 6E consultation process. So this is a shot showing the location of the Kuli'ou'ou fish pond, and Kalani Highway is in the background. And this simply shows the edge of the property, and then the spring at one time flowed from the edge of the property going in this direction. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but you can see a wall that constitutes a wall comprising the fish pond boundary. And then looks like there's a great mass of, I'm not sure what kind of grass this is. It looks like, part of it looks like pickleweed to me. The project location itself, and I can probably magnify this portion a little bit. And the location of the site shows that it is situated along the east boundary of New Valley. And past New Iki Circle, the project site is right about here, where you can see a project area. To get a better sense of what that actually looks like, we can look at this slide. And this slide again shows Kalani Highway. It shows this thing marked the trench collection area. This is where the waters from the artesian spring originally fed the Kuli'ou'ou fish pond. It went underneath the highway, and then it resulted in the general outline of the fish pond. And then there was a channel or an LY feeding to the ocean. And what happened over time was, yes, when there was construction work done on the highway, the connection was blocked. And the thing about artesian wells is that they're always under pressure. Water will always flow out of them. And this unique situation in this location resulted in the water no longer being able to go into the fish pond, but instead was flowing down gradient of the site and was creating quite a bit of consternation for the highway engineers that were trying to establish dry working conditions so that there would be, the free flow of traffic on the highway. So DLNR, now understanding the importance of the Hawaii and also working with Mauna Loa Fish Pond Heritage Center, made a really important decision to restore the use of the site and really understood quite a bit more about the importance that the community places on places like this. And the plate on the right of this shows a little more graphic detail on the length of the collection pipe that is coming from the artesian source and then going across. Okay, let me just do this stuff. And then where we are with the permitting right now is that quite a few of the environmental documents are completed. The HRS Chapter 343 exemption notice has been completed. These two items that I described earlier, HRS 6E and Section 106, those are currently in progress. Those documents are in the process of being reviewed and submitted in draft form to SHPD for their review. And we have already submitted a nationwide permit number 18 for the use of the site as a fish pond. And then the final thing is the SMA permit for the project was evaluated, and we were very fortunate in that Department of Planning and Permitting agreed with us that the project could be exempted from that requirement due to its location and its uses as a historic site. One point before I turn over to Scott Bellew or Mini, which is with us, is that there were a number of individuals, groups, and organizations that were consulted for the project. This is just a partial listing. In addition to this, there are far more that were contacted, and a great number of those that were contacted expressed interest in the project. Here are some of what the community had to say to us regarding the support for the project. If I may, I would like to call on Scott to talk about Section 106 and HRS 6E and anything else related to what we're talking about today. Scott?
Hi, Scott Belomny, archaeologist, Cultural Surveys, Hawaii. Honored to be assisting DLNR and the Heritage Center with getting through all the regulatory process associated with this great project. As mentioned, the project is subject to both Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act, as well as Hawaii Revised Statutes Chapter 6E regarding historic preservation. So we have been working with SHPD, the State Historic Preservation Division, on those processes and have been working through their requirements for the project. And that includes a lot of the consultation process, which is one of the reasons that we are here today. So in consultation with the State Historic Preservation Division, we are preparing an archaeological inventory survey to formally record and describe Kala'ihai Fish Pond as well as Lucas Spring as historic properties. We had the joy of spending several days with Chris and the Heritage and his team documenting and learning about the fish pond. And so we're getting that into a formal report to go to the state. We're also working on an archaeological monitoring plan and a preservation plan, meeting the requirements of the Hawaii Administrative Rules. Both of those would be reviewed by the Heritage Center as well as State Historic Preservation Division and help guide some of the requirements of the project. Archaeological monitoring will be conducted during project-related ground disturbance near the fish pond. We have really appreciated all of the responses that we've received to date during the consultation efforts and are working through those and responding to those. We would appreciate any additional comments that anybody may have that may assist us with ensuring that the fish pond and Lucas Spring are preserved and that the great work of the Heritage Center can continue.
Thank you, Scott. And this presentation that we've put together, that's available through the neighborhood board office. And of course, if you need any assistance with additional information or anything, please ask, and we're happy to share what we have in the way of resources.
Thank you very much for being with us today. This is a big project and there are several members of our board who are involved with Malama Mauna Lua Fish Pond and have worked very hard in order to restore our fish ponds so that and our fish along the shore, but and our cultural sites. So thank you very much for sharing what's going to be done. Does anyone have questions about the details or the reasons for restoring the flow to Kalani?
Hi, yeah, I've just got a question. I like the idea, and this is the first time I've heard about it. But my question is, were there any concerns that were raised that might be of interest for us?
I think I can try to answer that if I may, Chair.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how you wanted to handle that. The concerns that we raised, and there were only a few. One of them was a great deal of suspicion from some of the neighbors that what we were doing would undermine the foundations of the surrounding houses, and how did they know that, or how would we know that we wouldn't be endangering anyone? So that was one. Another one was that we were misusing the public treasury to undertake a project, and that somehow somebody would be benefiting, and who or what were they that would be benefiting from the activity. So in the first case, we were required to follow all laws and regulations regarding the construction of a project of this nature, and that includes ensuring sufficient structural integrity of anything that we put into the ground. And that's why it is being undertaken by a licensed professional engineer supported by geotechnical consultants. And Gordon Ring, if you want to add anything to that, Gordon is the project manager and civil engineer for this project. And if you want to say anything.
Oh, no, I think you covered it well. Thanks.
Okay. So that was the first part, and the other one regarding payments and where does the money go. This is a community process that we're going through. It's also very public, so in any of the costs or any of that kind of information, those can be requested to the DLNR, and there literally are no secrets or anything that's trying to be hidden. I just want to say this: there are so few projects that come across our desks where it really deserves to succeed, and this is one of the very few that we see. And it's very long. We in Hawaii is not a old state like some parts of the continental U.S. The things that we have that are ancient are literally only a few hundred years old. This is one of the few places that are considered older, and it goes back to the very earliest settlers to the islands. So it's a great piece of history to have.
May I ask a question? I'm trying to imagine how the water is going to flow. So it was a 1-foot diameter lava tube that it flowed through, millions of gallons a day or of water. I'm wondering how what the water will be channeled through, and I take it it's going to go under Kalani Highway, right? So there will be some changes in traffic for a while this project is taking place. Can you just describe how all that water is going to be contained and moved across the Kalani?
Yeah, I'll give a general answer, and then Gordon, feel free to jump in because you are literally the expert on this. If we look at the project site on the upper trench collection area, that's where the water flows in, and it's coming under positive pressure. That positive pressure feeds it into a manhole located towards the right or the left, right, the left end, the left end of this upper trench. And then from there, it goes into a manhole with piping. The piping is directed underneath Kalani Highway, and then it goes into another receptacle on the property of the fish pond. Then from there, it feeds via a pipe into the fish pond. So because it's under positive pressure, the fish pond itself needs to have a means of evacuating water flows so that the water is always fresh and available for use. It goes through this, you can kind of see this yellow line, and then that's where there's a channel. And historically, the channel had always been connected to the ocean, and the ocean is not that far from the end. But right now, it's not directly connected. It's mostly it would flow overland directly into the beach area and then out to sea.
Oh, thank you. Where's the water going now? Is it going under the homes that we see to the left of that collection area?
It actually, I think, well, I know that the flows are so severely restricted that there's only about 20% of the flow going into the fish pond, according to the records and documents that we've seen. And so with that slow flow, the water, is not getting enough circulation and not
Okay,
enough
so it's backing up. It's backing up. It can't even come out. Okay.
And
I'm just
Chris
trying.
again is Chris is the expert on what it's like because they had undergone enormous effort to clean out that fish pond. And so the condition that it's in now is really, really nice.
Okay. Well, thank you for explaining. I'm just trying to understand the concerns of the people who are worried about where the water was going to go, but I would think that it would already be flowing under their homes if it wasn't contained somehow, but apparently it was so dammed up that it isn't even exiting the area of the lava tube. So you're going to open that up and then a pipe will carry all the water underneath the freeway to the other side. Am I correct?
Yes, that's how the engineering is designed. It's designed to take the existing flows and then redirect it to its historical path.
That's terrific. That's magic. Well, thank you so much for talking to us tonight and telling us, about this amazing thing that you will be doing, and we really appreciate it. Chris, do you have any comments to close this out with? You want to say anything else to Mr. Takeda or the other people on his team? Oh, yeah.
I also wanted to recognize cultural surveys. I didn't introduce them, but yeah, Scott from cultural surveys, and yeah, water is always going to flow downhill. So I think there was a concern that it might flow uphill, but yeah, the water is always going to follow gravity. So I think we can be safe and assured that it's not going to flow uphill.
Can I ask a quick question? Just looking at the project schedule, the construction says startup is in late 2025. About how long will it be ongoing, and is there a plan for that, or?
Gordon?
So the contract, I think that once it starts, they have 300 days on their contract to finish it, but it's not going to be continuous work. You know, it might be off and on as they prep different phases of the construction, if that helps.
All right, and we know you can't predict how long everything's going to take, but just trying to get an idea. Thank you again. Thank you to all of you for talking to us about the Kalauha'iha'i fish pond restoration.
Yeah, thank you for, to the board as well, and to everyone, the project team. Scott and Gordon have done a great job, and we're thankful that Chris was already on site and really gifted us a beautiful site to work on. So the community should be proud for its accomplishment.
Chair.
Yes.
I also just wanted to invite the community to be a part of the restoration. So the Mauna Loa Fish Pond Heritage Center, if you go online, you can contact us, and we welcome community members that want to be a part of the restoration. So, and we take everybody, all comers, so we welcome everybody in the community.
Thank you. I'd like to go ahead to our next presentation. We've been looking forward to it. Becca Steinhauer. And Becca Steinhauer is going to talk to us about H&L Connect, which the goal of H&L Connect is to improve traffic flow and parking. And it's a high-tech way of trying to find space for everybody. And we get to actually do something where we practice parking, right? All right. Hopefully no parallel parking, please.
Good evening, board and constituents. I'm Max Calhammer. I'm with the Department of Transportation Services. I'm the program manager for what we call transportation demand management. And what we're doing is implementing a 5-year program that's based on a plan that was passed in 2023. And it's a program of incentives and encouragement for the citizens of our county to be more aware of their transportation options and to utilize other forms of transportation to reduce congestion, improve environmental quality, and reduce overall vehicle miles traveled, so that we have a more sustainable community, and that the ultimate effect is that our quality of life improves. So without further ado, I'm just going to let Becca do the presentation. Do you want me to flip slides or anything? Thank you. Becca's our consultant who's been hired to implement over 5 years this effort.
Yeah, so we just wanted to kind of go over our current project initiatives and the projects that are within the H&L Connect program. Starting with, we are working on coordinating a steering committee that will help guide the program, and then also just promote education and engagement and adoption within the community and local organizations. We are also very close to launching our first restricted parking zone program in Kalihi Valley, which will help with parking management within that neighborhood and hopefully just help the residents and businesses help finding parking for the residents and their visitors. We are also on the tail end of selecting our TDM or our application for the TDM project. And this is kind of a catch-all for most of the initiatives within this project. So it also lets you do route planning, And then it'll also support, we have a travel challenge that'll be taking place later in the year, where kind of adds a fun competitive aspect to alternate transportation. And then we also just have ongoing marketing that includes social media. Right now, we're doing at least one post a week that just talks about the benefits of transportation, but also encourages people to try out Skyline, try out the bus. We're trying to show people the different routes they can take to do different things across the island. So just if people don't know where to start, we're trying to create a space where they can come and figure out what they can do with the different transportation options on island. And then along the same vein of marketing, we have an annual marketing campaign that we'll do every year. So we'll do a new concept each year. And then that will be in line with the second Skyline opening in October. So it'll go from August to October. And then following that campaign, we're going to have that travel challenge that I mentioned that, again, will just give you a competitive aspect to transportation. And then I just wanted to show you what our concept was for this annual marketing campaign. We want to show people that transportation is easy. It's not scary. They just have to go into the door, step into the door of a vanpool or the bus or Skyline, and they can get where they want to go hassle-free. And part of that campaign is we're trying to compare the advantages to the disadvantages of driving. So disadvantages being you're sitting in traffic, you're circling the lot, trying to find a parking spot, you got a ticket from parking somewhere you shouldn't be parking, versus if you're taking the bus, you can sit back, read a book, listen to a podcast, catch up with somebody. You have different options. And then lastly, we're trying to encourage change, but we understand that we can't stop people from driving. So we just want to encourage them to drive less. So look at what their current driving habit is and shift where they can. So we understand, some people maybe don't want to take the bus when they're dropping their kids off to school or they're going to get groceries, but where are the other places that they go that might be easy for them to get on a bus or Skyline? And then this is just an example of one of our proposed marketing ads. So the main goal is we're going to show doors opening, then shows somewhere fun or making their way to work or, just whatever it may be. We just want to show step into the door and you can get where you need to go. And then our other planned initiatives starting in the fiscal year 2026. City employee TDM, which is supporting the city employees with education on what their transportation options are from parking, bus transit, and here we have our City Holo badge program, which is going to launch later this year. And it will offer free transit passes to city employees as long as they have a city badge. And then ongoing education for public officials. We are also working to relaunch the vanpool program. And then we'll have carpool matching that we are coordinating with the state Hawaii rideshare website. And then we also are working on street and off-street parking policy reforms, which you'll see with the game that we're playing later that kind of falls in line with that. And then there's just going to be ongoing program monitoring, including our first TDM annual report happening later this year. And then before we get into the game, are there any questions or comments?
What is carpool matching?
So it's the Hawaii rideshare website. It lets people go and put in parameters like I'm in this area. I want to find somebody who's going to this area into work, and then it matches you with. It's kind of like it's not Uber, but it kind of connects you with people. And then from there, you just set up a carpool, and it's a consistent thing after that.
Oops. Sorry. A population I think that really would benefit from this and having some benefits with the transportation is our student population, which I know you offer discounts for public school students. I wonder if they've ever explored extending that to any student coming into town, or if there's a I don't know if it's a discount or if it's a full free, but anyway, to fall into this and how younger kids who are depending on their parents maybe can bypass that extra travel to get to the student, and the student can just be more independent and rely on these types of things.
Yeah, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think right now it's only the discount.
We do have a program right now for University of Hawaii students, but I think your suggestion is well taken, and we'll definitely try to consider not only doing that, but maybe partnering with the Department of Education to try to alleviate the pressure. As you know, there's pressure on busing for students. So if we can in any way help with that aspect of transportation on our island, and as you know, it's very seasonal where the traffic gets a lot worse in September or August, and lets up right about now at the end of May. So yes, great question. Thank you. We can also get back to you on that.
Thank you. Is biking at all a factor in this plan? I mean, I love biking and I just can't do it because it's just not safe here. I mean, it would be so wonderful to bike the urban core because it's flat.
Yeah, yeah, and we're I think it was last week, it was Bike Safety Week. So we had a couple social media posts to talk about like the different ways you can be safe while you're biking in town or anywhere. And yeah, so I mean it's really just finding the associate. I know Bicycling League of Hawaii, I believe. I believe they have not training sessions, but education sessions where you can go and I think they might take you on bike tour so you can become comfortable with doing it. No, I wouldn't bike the highway either.
Is there any talk about possibly having schools start later than their current time to alleviate the traffic?
On a daily basis, you mean trying to work with the school system to stagger the start times for schools? Yeah, that's another thing that we could try to address from a policy perspective, but we don't. At the Department of Transportation Services don't have the power to just wave a magic wand and do that. But working with our city council and maybe our elected leaders to propose such things and our neighborhood boards, that would be wonderful. It's a great idea. I'd just like to address biking. There's other aspects of our TDM, Transportation Demand Management implementation for biking. So the bike share system that's mostly in the downtown and urban core area now is operated by the Department of Transportation Services. And we're encouraging developers of, especially new developments to offer incentives like free bike beaky beaky passes as part of their suite of incentives for their residents to choose biking sometimes instead of taking their car to go 5 blocks to the grocery store, or maybe even a more practical thing like to go 5 blocks to get your haircut. Because groceries, some people do it. I ride the bus and the train. Some people do go grocery shopping and take their bag on board. It's, perfectly allowed. So, yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
And then to segue into our game, we just wanted to, we know there's some key observations that we wanted to point out. We know the area has a high concentration of small beach parks.
Oh, pardon me, could you speak into the mic?
Oh, yeah, as a high concentration of small beach parks. Metered parking has limited availability in the neighborhoods. There's low commercial square footage and parking supply. And then there's also an over demand of parking due to hikers accessing the Kuli'ou'ou Ridge Trail. And then results and considerations from that is just pressure on residential and recreational parking demand in general. And then potential need for parking management at beach parks with maybe pay stations, and in residential areas with restricted parking zones. And then that would help to improve the daytime and overnight parking availability.
I have a comment from one of somebody online. She actually asked earlier in the chat if we can have the city bus service closer to New Valley School, and then she added, many parents drop their children off and pick up children. We could significantly reduce traffic if bus stops were closer to the schools.
We'll definitely take that comment back to our bus network design effort, which is underway as part of restructuring our whole transit network to fit in with each neighborhood's needs, but also the Skyline Rail. So Neo Valley is one of those routes that I think hasn't had a lot of ridership, and we would want to try to figure out a way to improve ridership, and one of the ways might be to address school pickup and drop off. So that's a great suggestion.
I realize you're not going to solve all the problems, but I'm surprised that, first it concerns me when someone mentions paying for parking at beach parks, because that to me is why we live in Hawaii, so we can kind of go to the beach. It's the only free thing we have. But as far as the bus stops, I'm surprised that there's not a bus stop at Sandy Beach. They have a massive parking lot, and if the bus ran to Sandy Beach, I think a lot more people would be taking it. And then we have a very popular hiking trail at the Makapu Lighthouse, and I think the nearest bus stop is a half a mile in each direction, and people have to traverse a busy highway. It's completely nuts that they wouldn't have a bus stop at popular beaches. But again, you can't do everything. But buses are more fun if they actually take you to where you're going, and you don't have to walk a great distance at the end. Thank you.
Right. There might actually be a bus stop at Sandy Beach, but it's nondescript.
There is a bus stop right across from the Sandy Beach parking lot, a covered one, but I don't understand why I see people walking from Sandy Beach to Kalama Valley. So it may be the frequency of the buses running and not the fact that there's not a bus stop there. So
okay.
Thank you for correcting.
Point well taken. And yes, the other one about paying for parking at beach parks, we're trying to implement pay stations in places where we'd like to see a little bit more turnover of parking, so that we try to ensure more parking availability. But if the community is pretty strongly against it, of course we're gonna listen, but it's just a potential that we felt like we should try to implement, since we do know that there's limited parking availability at places like Kuli'ou'ou.
Personally, I'm baffled that we allow private vehicles on busy thoroughfares like Wilder and King Street. So is there any, I mean, it benefits so few people, and it really impacts thousands of us, to have that on-street parking.
Okay. So like a busy thoroughfare that could use the extra capacity is what you're saying for for throughput for travel. And I think it's been a, like a legacy type of thing where we had lower traffic volumes when that system was designed and when the roadway was first built. So we can take that comment as well. Yeah.
Okay, Becca, go ahead and move ahead with our game. We need a game. We're also running short on time, so
We
let's
could also offer to come back and do, like, if you are feeling like you're a little short of energy, we'd also, be happy to do it, whatever you want to do.
let's have a vote of the people in this room. How many people would like to would like to invite them to come back at a future meeting? Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
And we feel like the game is most applicable to perhaps this parking lot right here. Because it's really the only commercial parking lot in this neighborhood board, I think, right?
well, it's the bank, it's the bank's parking lot, but after hours, it's open to anyone
Yeah.
who needs to park there.
Yeah.
But
So,
really, we have parking in the shopping center too, so
okay.
we're not in a critical situation
Maybe,
here.
maybe we could customize the game for this. That'd be
Oh, that would be cool.
kind of fun. Put some more thought into it.
Well, we thank you both so much for, we thank you very much for trying to improve the parking situation here. And yes, we do need help. We have a lot of people on this island, and we're looking forward to hearing what we can do and what can be done to alleviate the situation.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we're just getting started.
Oh. Thank you. Our next meeting will be August 6th, and same time and same place. Don't forget the Mayor's Town Hall if you're able to attend tomorrow night, starting at 6:30 at Kalani High School. Yes, hopefully it will be interesting. And we wish you a healthy and safe summer. We won't meet in July. We recess for July, but hope that everybody is here in August. And thank you all for caring about your community, being here. Okay, this meeting is now adjourned.